I am going to say the prayer, and then Scott Lyons is here for the pledge, right? Okay. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee as a commission, we appreciate the hand and all the things that we do. We appreciate also that all the water that we've been able to have this last year, Heavenly Father, and we recognize that all things come from Thee, and that the things will continue to happen in a way that will help not only the farmers, but the business people around this area, that we might be able to continue to raise our kids and do the best work we can while we are here. Please bless our armed force services that not only keep us safe here and abroad, but also our sheriffs and police departments here in the county, that they may be able to go home safely after each shift. Please again watch over our families while we are here. Please bless those people that have cause to mourn and those people that are sick and afflicted. And we ask these favors and blessings in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you guys had a chance to look at the minutes from June 7th?
Yes, I reviewed the minutes, and I make a motion that we approve the minutes for June 7th.
Second.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye. It looks like administrative review reports, future agenda items, the 11:41 today will not be here. Did they table it or just, no? Okay. Have you guys got anything else? This is where you can report on the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, well, I'll just, for those who don't know, the Boys and Girls Club here in Box City, the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Utah held, they have an annual fundraising support dinner. They held it this last Friday night. Box City County was recognized as one of those who supported them through everything, getting to where they'll have their Box City County, their new facility that they're gonna start operating or renovating here, the old Mountain View Elementary. And they received, one of our local businesses actually made the largest donation this business has ever made. It's a 5-generation bank, D.L. Evans Bank, donated over $200,000 to that project as a private organization. So it was a well-received thing. And then there was things, because it's Northern Utah, there was things from Cache Valley as well at this dinner. So it was a very well-attended event. I talked with them, the first one, the Boys and Girls Club first came to Northern Utah. They held this dinner, there were 10 tables, and there were over 50 that night, and they were all full. So it definitely is helping and having a huge impact on our community. And the young woman of the year, the youth of the year for the club came out of Box Elder County, Northern Utah, and is one of our county employees' daughters that was adopted by her. So anyway, bright young lady, has some issues, but has worked through them and is just doing phenomenal because of the Boys and Girls Club. So it was a great thing. And we got an award that I believe our county clerk has in her office at this point. So there you go.
I always had the opportunity to sit by David Zook. That's I call him the commissioner of cash, but he's the executive, and this first time he's ever been to it, and him and his wife were like wowed about how many people were there and how it went over and how many people donated. And that's an amazing thing about this community. I've told a lot of people in the last 5 years that companies want to come here. I see a Procter & Gamble representative back there, and I tell him, I said, you've got to be like Procter & Gamble, Nucor, or Autoliv, or somebody like that if you even think about wanting to come, because these guys are such great parts of our community. So we have to thank all the people who spent their time, and Janelle and her staff did an amazing event again. So have you got anything on future agenda items and stuff?
Not that I can think of right now.
And you'll talk about the county employee stuff.
We'll do that when we get to the
Okay.
number 6.
No former agenda items. Emergency management issue, I don't see anything.
Just one. I went and trained on the Sherp.
Oh,
Pollinated.
I got pollinated would be the proper way for it.
Cattails were in full pollination.
Mark tried to drown me, so.
Yeah.
And
good.
we will be using the SHRP for the 4th of July parades in Perry and Willard to support their community emergency response teams. So that's something else we'll be doing.
Pretty amazing.
Man, I heard the sigh from Annie clear back there when she saw Steve come in. She went, whew. Welcome. Okay, and I think just with the fire season gonna happen, I was just talking to somebody this morning and they were just saying this is the greenest they've seen it for the longest period, but that means that everything's gonna turn brown and it's high, so just start watching out for fires and trying to do what you can. If you're out camping and recreating and things, make sure your vehicles, chains and stuff are tied up and, cause I have a feeling once it starts, it's probably not gonna stop, so. Okay, where to Box Elder County employee recognition?
Can I just quickly, we'll do last month, just so y'all are aware, commissioners were aware of it. We recognized our county employee group last month, in the month of May as our employee of the month. We did the whole group, and we took them out to lunch to thank them for their efforts and gave them each a certificate. We had one member who couldn't make it. She had a family emergency, wasn't able to be there. We'll make sure we can take care of her in the future. But they were really grateful for what they received, and they held a great county employee party later that night that was very well attended, and the rain held off just long enough to get through, and then it came
just
down
long
like
enough.
crazy right after we got done with everything. So it was a good county employee event out there in Bear River on that July 14th Flag Day.
And if you need anybody to cook burgers, Commissioner Bingham can cook a burger, man. He was there from the beginning till the end. You still got still have hair on your fingers?
I'm not going there, no.
Yep. And then I think Commissioner Bingham has our employee of the month for the month of June.
So our employee of the month, and I want to say first off that I appreciate this program. I think it's a very motivational, good program for the employees. Our employee of the month, this month is just a little bit different. It's a department head. The employee of the month is Keith Keller. And in the IT department, there are 2 employees, and right here in my hand, I have an email from both of his employees recommending him, and neither one knew the other one was recommending him. Just a short statement, a great boss that makes us feel appreciated. He tries to make the county better within his scope of employment and goes beyond with suggestions and work outside of ITS. He is supportive to his employees and encouraging in his own way. Keith should be recognized for the work he does for the county. No one has any idea what truly happens in IT and the work it takes to keep this place running. I know because I was over there in their office quite a bit when I first was here. We were trying to get all this technology stuff up and running, and they were very helpful. Anyway, Keith, just as part of his master's degree, did what did you call it, Lee?
He did an employee study of all of our county employees and then shared it with all the department heads and everybody in the county, so.
So he's been helpful. Didn't have to do that and did that. And he's very easy to work with and very deserving of this award. And he's not here. He must have heard we were going to talk about him.
Yeah, if he's listening, he's at the eye doctor right now, so.
So we'll present that to him at a later time.
And I'd have to echo what they say. I've been here for June, it seems like forever, and I always have to call Keith, and the first thing he says is, I don't know what your password is, Stan. So he takes care of us all the time, so.
So we'll get with Keith and take care of
Okay.
the formal recognition later, so.
Okay, if nobody else has got anything else, Charlene, let's talk ARPA and LATCF. I got it that time because it was right in front of me.
Do any of you need hard copies of what I already provided, or
That's what Deanna was talking about.
Got it here, but sure.
get it to you?
It's easier to look at.
This and the following agenda item as well.
Okay.
Charlene Larson, County Auditor. So first, Commissioner Summers asked for an update on ARPA funding. And with everything that's been spent, our balance remaining is just over $538,088 remaining. I believe, and I should have brought the policy in, we have till the end of 2024 to obligate that.
Okay.
Any questions or concerns? There are some, requests in the past that haven't been passed by the commission as far as a public denial or whatever, and I don't know if you want to review any of those applications or if you just want to wait and see where things go as far as requests of ARPA
I think
funding.
let's wait and see, in my opinion, just to, I don't know what you guys think, but I think we ought to just keep this here in case something
Yeah.
happens in the future.
We
so,
haven't received any applications recently.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll go on to the LATCF funding. The only thing that's been spent is for the UAC
part of it.
percent that they requested for their National Center for Public Land Counties. And the remaining sitting there, we haven't received the other second tranche payment yet. That occurred in the fall last year, so I'm assuming that's about when we'll see the remaining half.
Don't
of
they
the
usually send it
balance.
with PILT or somewhere around that same time?
We've already received the PILT.
Oh, really?
So we didn't receive LATCF
Did
yet.
it go up at all?
3.5,
So it has gone up a little bit.
I think is where we landed. I could get you an exact number. That just came in this last week.
Because when I started, it was 2.9.
Yeah, it's higher.
Okay. In case nobody knows what PILT is, it's payment in lieu of taxes. That's what the federal government gives us instead of, I call it pennies in lieu of
For
taxes.
forestry land and such,
Yeah.
they don't pay
For the
taxes on it.
300 and however many thousand acres out west, so. Okay. I know we're talking about using some of this for animal shelters. So I know Lee's gonna talk to those guys in the future and see what we can do to help the sheriffs and the local, to see
Just
what we
as a reminder, as we do it, I did not place a budget because I didn't know how we were going to be doing it. So we'll have to have a public hearing and set the budget before we start
LATCF, right?
spending it for the LATCF. We do have budget for ARPA,
Right,
So we'll set that up.
all
okay.
right?
And honestly, if sometime when there's a short agenda, if you wanna just put that on the agenda and set the budget, then we can continue to do what we need to do with that.
I have to put it in the paper a week in advance for that, but if I could have a feel if it was a short agenda, I don't know by
Yeah.
then. But I can try,
Okay.
so.
Just ask Chrissy and stuff, see what's going on. I mean, I don't care if it's on just a normal agenda. I'm just saying that,
Yeah, so I guess I need to know from you, like, categories of how you're planning to spend it, like what type of expenditure lines, and then
Right.
I can set the budget,
Okay.
so.
I think the only thing we can't use it on is lobbying
Correct.
DC.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty wide open,
pretty wide open.
yeah.
Okay, you guys got any
Alright.
questions?
No, we'll go through that. Do we want to let her do her second part while she's here? or
Yep,
do you
oh
wanna-
yeah, yep.
Even though it's a lot of
Okay.
order, we can,
Then my other item is the requirement for ratification of the tax sale. I provided that to you. The items above the line are properties that sold, including a lot of the non-compliant out west. That's a big portion of our tax sale. And then the ones below the line, I need to read a statement as far as striking that off to the county. All property here offered for sale, which has not been struck off to private purchaser, is hereby struck off and sold to the county of Box Elder. And I hereby declare the fee simple title of the property to be vested in the county. So I'll just need you to ratify the tax sale, including the striking off those properties to the county that did not sell.
The one, go
you,
ahead.
I just want to find out, I mean, so I understand, can you explain the difference between a premium and amount due? I mean,
Premium, so we put this as an online bidding system. It goes to the highest bidder. Any amount over what we're collecting for taxes and fees will go to unclaimed property.
Okay.
And it's the responsibility of those previous owners to apply and get that money. It does go back to the original owner.
Okay.
okay,
And then I was just gonna tell you that, you've been here long enough to remember when we had 3,300 parcels.
Yeah, Tom thought it was pretty unfair of how many I did have this time. It's a lot less than he's had in the past.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So
It has gotten shorter.
every year we've turned the corner, so thanks for your work on that.
I'd make a motion that we accept,
Just ratify.
ratify the tax sale results, and what would
And that we ratify striking off the
ratify
properties that weren't bought by a
ratifying
private
and striking off
purchaser.
those that are underneath the line that weren't sold. So,
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the exempt property application for nonprofits, is that something different?
I probably provided that list to you, but I didn't bring my copy in with you. So the exempt properties are all the nonprofits, and I provided you a list of
Right.
that. You just need to review and approve those. There was one property that changed names. We advised them that they would need to reapply through the process. If you're a continuing exempt property, it's a pretty easy application. If you have to start over again, they have to supply you a lot more information. So I just wanted to make you aware of that property because they'll suddenly get a tax bill this year because they didn't properly reapply.
And they're aware of it. Do you think they'll come and just want us to strike it later, or
It's a good
if
question.
they have all their ducks in a row by then?
Be
We've
up to
sent
them to
them
figure it out.
letters and what they needed to do and just
BOE.
haven't heard from them. So we'll see what happens.
We've went through a couple of those in the last little while, so. Okay,
Should have looked up to see what I was supposed to be talking about, but
you're
there's
But you don't need us to
everything.
do anything with that, that's just informational, right?
I believe so, unless someone's coming to like disagree with what we did
Yeah.
as far as allowing exempt properties or non-exempt anymore property, so.
Perfect.
will you just put a total on that someplace in the minutes of what that was? I mean, because I know people are interested in how many exempt properties we actually have, so.
Yeah, I had it listed on what I sent you. I apologize. I
Don't
didn't get my
apologize, you're
copy
fine.
for me. But I'll get that to you so you have the record.
Okay,
All right?
Perfect.
thanks, Charlene. It looks like we're to Michael McGinnis. I don't, we already had a,
On that second part,
no.
we
She
did
said we're
we did
fine.
the exempt property, or the
That was
exempt
just
property, we don't need a
informational.
motion, she said.
You're good.
Usually ratified that in the past.
If they did, go ahead and do it. I'm not sure.
Do you want us to ratify it, just to make you feel better? Okay.
Exempt properties minus
I'd
the one-
entertain a motion to ratify the exempt properties.
So moved.
I'll second it.
You got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's what we're here for.
Keep us on that's what the clerk's here, to keep us on check.
All right. You see us way too much.
This is
Sorry.
good. We're getting money. Come to sign for more money.
There you go.
As long as you're not getting it from me, that's all that matters.
Not from you. Nope. This
Okay.
this is from the state. This is good.
It finally came through, huh?
Yeah. So we had last time I was here, we had some questions about the agreement. There was that $30,000 we were wanting to offset the manager cost. So the current grant application that I completed this year was I requested that money. They've granted that, so that 30,000 is back in the budget and can be used to offset the managing defender's costs.
Cool.
So, help me understand this. So the IDC grant is the middle column, total cost is the left.
Correct.
System spending is who?
That's what the county spends.
Oh, it's Box Elder County?
Yep. And then we got an additional grant for a justice court defender.
Oh, good.
So that's 18,000 there. So we'll have to find another attorney to do that.
So what does that mean? Help me understand. When we've talked before, we've talked about
Sure.
a lot of different things. What does the Justice Court
So,
Defender?
so currently, right now, what I'm trying to do is we have a lot of the public defenders are doing a lot of different things that maybe in other places they don't do.
Okay,
They're wearing lots of different hats. One of them is doing a justice court. They don't get paid any additional money to do that. And so now, instead of having them to take away time from doing their district court contract, to do that, we can get another attorney to take care of this
Oh,
part-time.
so you're gonna actually hire another attorney?
We'll
for
get it,
part-time.
yeah, get another attorney, let the other attorney worry about their caseload in district court.
Oh, okay,
So helps relieve caseload problems and gets them some funding for the justice court. So that's only once a month thing that they currently do. That's why it's only 18,000.
Okay. So I've always been a little confused about this administrative assistant. Since we've been talking, it seemed like we had one, and then we had two, and now we're back to one. And
Right.
I'm a little
So,
confused.
so we have one.
We
So
have
I
one.
think there was confusion about.
That better? Sorry. Can you hear him in the back now? Okay.
I'm about to bite it. I mean, it's not like it's not a long ways away. But go ahead.
So the confusion, I think, happened when we were making this agreement with Cash. I
Okay.
think they were saying that, well, we could use one administrative assistant for both counties, and then Box Elder was going to offset their costs for the managing defender costs with the administrative assistant costs. Unfortunately, with the grant system, you can't take one money and move it to another category like that. So that couldn't happen. So I have an assistant in Cache County, and there's an assistant in Box Elder. What I did to take care of that is I requested that money, the same $30,000. If you look, it says administrative assistant $30,000. I requested that to offset the cost. So you're getting that money just in a different way.
Right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It
So
does.
then
Okay.
Box Elder's paying the difference, the 5,200 and
Correct.
35.
We weren't sure that was going to happen. So
Right.
last time we talked.
Yep.
Okay. You got any questions? I'd entertain a motion. There's two of them here.
Yeah, the other one is this is a grant from January that I applied for, and it's a bonus for the public defenders to pay for office stuff.
Bonus.
Yeah, they get 5,000 each, so
Wow.
from the IDC.
Okay.
And now did those funds come from the state or,
Yeah.
and they've been approved?
They've been approved. We just have to have, as soon as the county pays first, and then they get reimbursed. Yep, just like all the
So-
grants.
So I guess I don't understand attorneys' pay and all of that.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, how much does that mean? If by the time you give them that $5,000 bonus, how much are they getting paid?
So with a $5,000 bonus, they currently make $7,000 a month. So the $5,000 bonus,
So didn't we, when we talked about this, didn't we up everybody to 7,500?
correct. So currently, right now, that when I applied for this grant, this is the beginning of January. They hadn't got a raise. So the requirement for the grant, I look for any grant I can apply for.
Okay.
So at that point, there hadn't been any raises. Part of the requirements for that grant, they hadn't had a raise for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So back when I applied for this in January, they qualified. If I
Okay.
applied for that now, they wouldn't qualify.
Okay.
So those funds are still available for them, like I said, to pay for office expenses, whatever they need to do their job. But
So that helps us retain them, is what you're saying.
that's
as well.
what I'm saying. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about all the questions.
No, I think that these are great questions. I want to help you understand. I know it's confusing. So
Okay. Take them in two different motions. 2348. Public defenders. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Public Defender's Grant 23-28.
Second.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
And the second.
Make a motion to accept Public Defender Grant Agreement 2350.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. What's your chances of finding somebody else that wants to work for an attorney?
that's a good question. I think
Yeah.
we can find somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to get going on that right now. So
Okay.
I have to post it. There's certain grant rules when you have a grant funded position, but we'll get somebody.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to make sure you knew, we also got a social worker
Oh,
as well for the child welfare services
Oh,
that's
okay.
shared with Cache County.
that's awesome.
So that's just let you know that's coming down the pipeline too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Do we need
Thanks,
to do
Michael.
this 2346, the defense, capital defense, or is that not one we need to
I
take care
don't
of?
think that's with him, is it?
I think that's the capital defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, Steve, you got that one? Yes, this is a case where. You've got to bring your mic over. We've had complaints that they can't hear you either for the last 4 or 5
It's for
times.
soft-spoken people, Stephen, so.
All right, is that better?
I don't know, is it? Can you hear him, Marla?
I can put it inside my mouth if you need me to.
What are you trying to say? What do I do?
The next one is, we have filed a case it's considered a capital case, considered covered by the Capital Indigent Defense Trust Fund. The judge has appointed a Rule 8 certified attorney to do that, so we have to apply, and then the contract will be entered with the Indigent Capital Defense Trust Fund. And so this is to verify that and to get authorization to sign the application so we can go down that road. And then when the contract gets in place, we'll have to sign that as well. Capital Indigent Defense Funds provides all costs of defense for this case. It would be the attorneys, it would be experts, whatever costs are associated with the case.
So just a question, we adjusted that budget a few months ago where we added, some funds in there for expert witnesses and things of that nature. Would that apply in this case?
No, this is a whole separate fund.
Whole separate fund?
Yeah, this is completely funded by the state. Several counties are members of it and contribute to it, so there's a fund there that's used specifically for capital defense.
Cases.
Okay,
So it's completely separate from that. That's a good question.
okay. I will make a motion to approve application agreement 23-46 for indigent capital defense.
Second.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We did 1151 and 1153 together.
Did the,
Marla, you're up.
Alrighty, I have a couple of names to replace a couple folks at the Willard Cemetery District. And first of all, I want to thank those folks who have served. Shirlene Farley has served on that board for probably 32 years. And Tollison Beams, who just passed away, he has also served for many, many years. And so they have advertised and done everything they needed to do to select some new folks to replace them. And they have submitted 2 names that they would like to have approved and appointed to the Willard Cemetery Board. And that is Carla Parsons and Roger Lee.
Awesome. And then contrary to popular belief, the only thing we do with the cemetery districts is appoint and reappoint. We have nothing financially to hang over their heads. I don't know how many calls we get all the time, especially during Memorial Days and things like that, that call us and think that we should be making people mow the lawns and clean their headstones. So we're just keeping track of the people so they actually know where they're at. Did I say that okay, Maura? But we do thank them guys for doing what they're doing. The county wouldn't be what we are without volunteers to do this kind of stuff. So I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve Carla Parsons and Roger Lee to the Willard Cemetery Board.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this was something that we had to have done last week, and it was just a letter of support for some EV charging stations throughout the county. So I just need a motion to approve that it was okay for me to sign that.
I'd make a motion that we ratify the signature of the letter to support the net EV charging stations and green alternative fueling centers throughout Box Elder County.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye. This one, it seems like we're always doing the same thing. Grass Creek has been able to get a bunch of the CBDG grants from the federal government to help with their water system. And there's a ton of requirements, and I take my hats off to the people who keep putting this in front of them to be able to help with their water systems. So Community Development Block Grant, I actually know what CBDG means. I've been around this way too long. So we just need to make a motion to be able to do a letter of support for Grouse Creek.
I'll make a motion to request an additional extension to approve that for the East Grouse Creek Water Pipeline.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
And another one for letter of support. We've got a great
Bring it back this way.
bunch of people that like to come out and recreate in Box Elder County, and they do a lot of great work with not only putting up signs and trails and such for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I think. And they need our letter of support to go help. Is that the one we're talking about, or is that the other one?
No, you're talking about the letter of
Yeah,
support for
look-
Utah State Parks.
Yeah, for state parks, for these guys to go out and do the work. So they don't charge us anything. They go out and do it for free, and we appreciate all the help that they've been able to do. They're actually mostly from Weber County, so it's nice that they come up and like Box Elder County, so.
Haven't we had people doing something like that up around the Manaway Reservoir?
Yeah,
Yeah, they have.
yeah, they have. Yep. So I entertain a motion to letter support.
So moved, I'd support that we issue a letter of support for the Utah State Parks to participate in cleaning and leveling out 2 of our existing trails in Box Elder County.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
They've heard enough from me. Do you want to tell them what this next letter's from?
Actually, the BLM has proposed a change in the way they use BLM ground. The BLM forever has promoted multiple use of land, and now they have a proposal to change that rule to actually have what they call conservation be a use for BLM property, meaning you can idle it and not use it for anything. Just let the grass grow, the brush grow, and not ever graze it, not ever recreate on it, not ever use it for any kind of drilling.
Just wait for it to catch on fire and burn down.
Yeah.
And then they don't pay for us to go put it out.
So actually, it was kind of cool because the state of Utah kind of ramrodded a letter sending it to the department, the secretary over the BLM, and they had, let's see, Nevada, Wyoming, South Dakota, Montana,
Most of the western states.
most of the western states, they got together and they put together a letter requesting that the BLM not make that change. And so from the county commissioner standpoint, we just wrote a letter concurring that we agree with the governors. And we also brought up a few issues. I don't know, those of you who get out in the county, a pretty good way of checking this out is you go and see the CRP ground. CRP is Conservation Reserve Program. And so they plant these plants on private ground, and they let them grow, and they get old and they get stagnant, and they are a perfect breeding ground for bugs, where they then migrate onto other properties and they do damage. And then also they get stale. They're never harvested, they're never grazed, and the plants get dry, and you get a spark and they burn like wildfire crazy. So anyway, and as far as Box Elder County is concerned, you take that any kind of economic effort out of that. If you have a business that's using that and you take it out of a business and you say it's being conserved by non-use, there's no taxes, there's no economic benefit to the county, but the county still then has the responsibility to maintain roads and maintain employees who then have to
Put fires out.
maintain those roads that access that BLM ground. So anyway, I guess the short statement is we weren't in favor of that.
Yeah.
So.
Nope. So I'd entertain a motion for that letter of support also.
I'd make a motion that we support issuing a letter from us, the companies, the governor's letters to the secretary of the BLM.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Scott Lyons.
All right, just one item today. We've got ordinance 582. So this is a text amendment to the Box Elder County Land Use Management and Development Code. It affects primarily Chapter 2-2 and addresses noticing requirements. So Senate Bill 43, which was passed this most recent legislative session, requires counties to amend and update existing public notice practices and processes. They've kind of gone from some language that generally says public meetings and public hearings to like a Class 1 and Class 2 notice. Or is it, yeah. Class A and Class B notice, sorry. So anyway, we redrafted all our public notice requirements to meet the requirements set forth in that SB 43. and took it to the Planning Commission at their meeting on June 15th. They held a public hearing. There was no input, and the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval, and that comes to you at this point. So there is one change. I believe Marla has the most current version of this, given to her by the attorney's office. There's one change to that in the second paragraph where it says, whereas House Bill 43, that would just need to be changed to Senate Bill 43.
Okay. You guys got any questions about that? Clear as mud?
Clear.
Yeah. You got anything, Steve? We good? Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 582, noticing requirement update.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Gina. Come on down.
Hi.
Get that mic up next to you and tell us who you are. and-
I have a loud voice, so probably don't need to be too
Just tell me
close
when
to
you
it.
want me to.
All right. Okay, so I'm Gina Nelson. I'm the Box Elder County Landfill Director, and I'm here today to talk about an innovative recycling project we have begun with Procter & Gamble, and that's our wastewater project. Okay, so Procter & Gamble's mission statement is, "We make everyday lives a little better." They have taken this mission statement and expanded it to include environmental sustainability as a primary goal. And it's a primary factor in achieving their goals, excuse me. In fact, they have implemented an environmental sustainability program entitled Ambition 2030. I'll just tell you a slide, if that's okay. So Procter & Gamble is a zero waste. Now you can. Sorry, I have it on the speaking points on this other.
We're gonna hope it all
So
matches.
P&G is a zero waste facility, which means they divert their manufacturing waste from being disposed of in a landfill. They accomplish their goal of zero waste through many modes of diversion and repurposing of waste. P&G also focuses on reducing their carbon footprint. We are located about 8 miles away from P&G, which means that it's shorter routes for transportation and less of an impact on our environment. Next slide. So a little bit about Box Elder County Landfill. We're located at Little Mountain and Tremonton. We're a Class 1 municipal solid waste landfill, and this means we don't accept any hazardous waste, nor do we accept any liquid waste. So this might seem confusing to all of you that are involved in the industry, but you're not allowed to dump water, even clean water, onto a landfill working phase. So you might ask why, and the answer is leachate. Next slide. So what is leachate? The best analogy I can come up with is coffee as an analogy. You put water into coffee ground, you come up with coffee. If you pour water into a mixed waste stream, you come up with leachate. And leachate is a toxic substance, and you don't want it in any of your landfills. You don't want it contaminating groundwater or anything near it. It's a goal of our county landfill to make sure we avoid creating leachate in any way whatsoever. So we have limits. We don't even allow 5 gallons of water to be unloaded on the landfill itself. So now we come to our current project with P&G. So next slide. So our wastewater project. This is some pictures of them bringing the wastewater out in our containment ponds. So Procter & Gamble delivers non-hazardous wastewater to our facility where it's unloaded into the ponds. They're HDPE lines, so high-density polyethylene, so there's no leakage, nothing is gonna get out. Although it's non-hazardous, so even if it did, it wouldn't affect anything. We'll get to that point. So just remember, we're not allowed to unload any water, even clean drinking water, onto the landfill. So the storage ponds, though, are only a temporary home to the wastewater. We've created an innovative way to turn the waste into a usable commodity for the landfill. So landfills are required to cover the daily waste with 6 inches of compacted soil or an approved alternative daily cover, and that has to come from the DEQ. Using our innovative process, we are able to solidify the wastewater and create an approved daily cover. Next slide. So this is a picture of all of the alternative daily cover materials that we do use in the solidification process. The top corner is our paper fines, and those come from Procter & Gamble. And basically, they're just a weight a wet paper pulp, and they're excellent for mixing with the dirt, mixing with the dirt and also to create this alternative daily cover. Then just below that is the cardboard cores, also coming from Procter & Gamble. And then we use our grinder that's right there in the center. Oh, I'm sorry. And then also on the right-hand side, you'll see concrete. So we can use concrete grindings, and we can also use mattresses that we grind up that are also put in with our green waste. And it makes a really good absorbent layer for this alternative daily waste, or alternative daily cover. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the water solidification process begins when Procter & Gamble delivers the water to our pond. They unload it into our top pond, which then overflows down into our bottom pond. And then we take the water from the bottom pond, load it into our industrial-sized trucks. So if you see that water truck on the second slide, and then it's taken to one of 4 different solidification areas in the landfill. So and this is really important because those solidification areas are all being excavated for future use in our landfill. And none of these areas have waste underneath the dirt. So wherever we go to put this water down, there's no garbage underneath. So we're not breaking any rules about applying water to the landfill because it's not going on top of waste. It's being simply solidified and processed in those 4 different areas. And then, next slide, then we load it and we take it to our working face, or we even have some storage areas because we do have allowances to use this as also an intermediate cover, but that's too much information. So we take it up to our working face, then our bulldozer uses it to push over the garbage to take the place of that 6 inches of compacted soil. We do not have to compact this according to the state. So there's enough components in it that it'll keep vectors out. That's the reason for compacting soil, is to keep all those rats and
Rodents and birds.
we don't have any of those, by the way. There are no rats at our landfill that I'm aware of. There, does that save me? And the bottom picture is a picture of the finished product. So that has some of the paper fines incorporated into it and all of the materials I spoke about earlier. We don't have to use those materials every time. We can just mix it with dirt. As long as it's solidified, not left to pool, and it's not put on top of waste, we're following all of our permit guidelines and saving the county a ton of money without having to pay for that extra stuff. So next slide. So the benefits of this project. This is the most important slide. So we're turning a waste product into a usable commodity. We're supporting Procter & Gamble and their environmental sustainability initiatives. We're reducing our carbon footprint. We're creating new jobs and employment opportunities. It's increased revenue for Box Elder County. And because of that increased ability, we're able to maintain the lowest tipping fees in the state of Utah. So the only way we're able to do that is if it's subsidized somehow. We are a very small landfill, which is a great thing for our county because it's going to be around for many generations to come. And we're saving a ton of space by this partnership. Next slide. So together with Procter & Gamble, we really can make life better for all of us in Box Elder County.
That's awesome. Thanks, Gina.
Thank you. Oh, do I stay up here for
I think you're next, right?
this?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have the addendum?
We just have the addendum to the Procter & Gamble wastewater.
It's being worked on. It's not finished, but I think
We're close.
probably discuss what's gonna be in there. And
Okay.
And then they can approve it subject to us getting it finished. So you
Okay.
can come back.
All right, so all the addendum is it's just to clarify if we reach certain numbers in our contract or we go over our certain numbers, we will change the price of the wastewater. And we also have put in holidays limiting 8 hours of work instead of 10, and then also we are charging Procter & Gamble for a labor fee for holidays and any Saturdays that we're not open. So,
Okay.
I think that covers pretty
And this isn't new, because I remember when we worked for.
No, so it's our original contract is still in place. The addendum just covers.
I'm
if
talking about the
we-
wastewater. We used to take auto leaves water
Yeah,
forever.
so it was
But
a
not to the
little bit
same,
different.
little bit different, but you've just
Yeah.
expanded it to be able to meet these criteria.
Yeah, so the great thing about Procter and Gamble is the zero waste aspect. So we're creating a usable product out of a waste product. Whereas before, we would simply take wastewater from a company and we let it evaporate out in the storage ponds, but it was not nearly
Right.
the amount.
Okay, but that's where the ponds basically
Right,
came from.
that's why we still have the ponds, and we are building a third pond. We're in the process of constructing the third pond as well.
That's great. So I'd entertain a motion, just doing it per legal with the rest of it. So do you want us to contract it now, or do you want to wait until you're totally done?
Well, it's up to you. You could approve it because you know what's gonna go in there.
Yeah,
You can do that, or
I'm okay with approving it pending.
if you wanted to see it before it gets approved, that's okay too.
Well, like I said, all we're doing is the three things she said, and we're already doing it, so. It's up to you guys. I can't make a motion, so.
I'll make a motion that we approve contract 2349, addendum to the Procter and Gamble wastewater agreement, pending our legal review and written out.
Okay.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Perfect.
Now you can come up, Jenica.
Okay, Jenica Stander, HR.
You need to pull it up in front of you too. Sorry.
Even closer. Okay. So I've been working with Gina to reorganize our landfill employees. I've sent you the proposal. The only thing we're asking for that we don't currently have is an operations supervisor at the landfill. That will be a second in command to help Gina with all of these additional responsibilities. We are proposing to reclassify a couple of employees and create a safety operation position and a training officer position. You can see on the bottom of the second page, the compensation changes and the budget changes that are required to do that. We need to do these to stay in compliance with the state of Utah permit that we have, and then also to make sure that we stay in compliance with all the requirements for Procter and Gamble's project. Do you want to add anything?
You guys got any questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we accept the landfill reorganization as proposed by Jenica and Gina.
Just one question before I second this. So are you gonna put this position out for bid, or are you gonna advance from inside?
Yeah, so the operations supervisor will be posted publicly. And then the equipment operator twos we already have, but we don't have the safety officer and training officers, so those will be proposed to internal candidates only.
Okay, I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
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 Gina, thanks for all the work. We've been doing this a long time. And Jenica, thanks for helping get this thing through. So, thanks for everything, honestly. Okay, looks like we're at warrant register. We're already at volunteers. Jenica,
Getting there.
volunteers?
What's that?
Okay. I just seen all the posse ones. What'd you throw these at me for?
One for you, one for Boyd, one for Steve. They're gifts.
I was gonna say, there's no stickies to sign.
Nope, they're not stickies. You just keep that as informational purposes only. There's that.
And I'd entertain a motion to go into a closed session to talk about property and legal
Under pending litigation.
pending litigation.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Motion by you, right? Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.